Plant your seed in me, the giant Apache girl said. The Lone Rancher, Vertical Bar, Best Wild West Stories. Alara's first night on Dusthaven was quiet. Almost too quiet. The wind whispered across the metal panels of the homestead, carrying tiny particles of red dust that glittered faintly under the twin moons. She had hardly slept on the train, and now, in this new place, she felt a strange mixture of fear and wonder. Everything around her seemed alive and different, yet peaceful. Ryder Kane, her husband, had already risen before dawn. He was moving around the small kitchen area, adjusting panels on the wall and feeding a small mechanical creature that looked like a cross between a sheep and a robot. Alara watched him from the doorway, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "You don't have to get up yet," Ryder said without turning. His voice was calm, like the sound of a river. "Sleep is for the long haul. You'll need energy if you want to survive Dusthaven." I didn't sleep well on the train," she admitted softly, stepping closer. "Everything felt too fast, too different." Ryder smiled faintly. He looked at her with eyes that seemed both steady and kind. "That's normal," he said. "New planet. New life. You're safe now. You're home." Alara nodded, trying to believe him. The words comforted her, but a tiny part of her still felt unsure. She had left everything familiar behind, trusting someone she had never truly met. After breakfast, a mix of warm grain paste and synthetic fruit, Ryder suggested a tour of the homestead. They stepped outside, and Alara gasped softly at the sight before her. The ranch stretched wide and open, a mixture of old wooden fences and hovering panels that glowed faintly in the morning light. A few robot animals grazed calmly nearby, moving with smooth, deliberate motions. Dusthaven's landscape was wild but strangely beautiful, with jagged rocks and soft pinkish sands stretching to the horizon. "You'll see," Ryder said. "Life here is different from any other planet. You have to be careful, but it can be wonderful." As they walked, Alara noticed a small group of neighbors approaching from the distance. Each one seemed unusual, yet oddly familiar. There was Mara, a woman with silvery hair who moved gracefully despite carrying a basket of glowing fruits. Tobin, a tall man with mechanical implants, waved warmly, and a small robot named Flicker zipped around on 3 wheels, chirping in a way that sounded almost like laughter. "Neighbors?" Alara asked quietly. "Yes," Ryder said. "They're good people. Some are settlers, some are just passing through. And Flicker," he added, smiling at the little robot, "is our unofficial welcome committee." The neighbors greeted Alara warmly. Mara handed her a glowing fruit. "First time on Dusthaven?" she asked. Her voice was soft but carried a confident tone, as if she had learned to navigate the strange world without fear.
Alara nodded, accepting the fruit.
"Yes. It's beautiful but also a little overwhelming." Mara laughed gently. "It's overwhelming for everyone at first, but you'll find your rhythm. And it helps to have good neighbors." For the next few hours, Ryder showed Alara how the homestead worked. The house had solar panels that tracked the suns, self-cleaning floors, and walls that displayed star maps at night. There were gardens where plants grew in floating pods, slowly rotating to catch sunlight. There were shelves filled with tools, supplies, and small boxes labeled in Ryder's neat handwriting. As they walked past the stables, Alara noticed Flicker behaving oddly. The small robot darted behind a crate, then reappeared, its sensors glowing briefly before turning away. Ryder noticed too. "Flicker's curious," he said, bending down to examine the little machine. "Sometimes it finds things that surprise even me." Alara watched, intrigued. The robot zipped around once more and then stopped near a small patch of dirt. Its tiny wheels scratched at the ground, revealing a small metallic object buried beneath the red dust. Alara bent down and picked it up. It was a smooth silver disc with strange symbols etched on its surface. "What is this?" she asked, holding it carefully. Ryder's eyes widened slightly. "Where did you find that?" Flicker uncovered it, Alara said. He took the disc, examining it closely. This isn't just a trinket. It's an old artifact. Very rare on Dusthaven. I thought it was buried far from here." Alara's curiosity sparked. "Artifact?" Ryder nodded. "Something left behind by the planet's early settlers, or maybe by visitors who came before anyone knew this planet existed. It's harmless, but it has peculiar properties. Some say it responds to emotions." Alara held the artifact, feeling a soft warmth emanate from it. She couldn't explain it, but a sense of calm spread through her chest. Ryder placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "See?" he said. "Safe. You're home." Despite his reassurance, Alara's mind buzzed with questions. Why would an artifact like this be here, on their property? And why had Ryder not mentioned it before? As the day continued, Ryder introduced her to other parts of the homestead, the water purification area, the workshop where he built gadgets, and a small library filled with books from Earth and other colonies. Each corner revealed more about Ryder's life, his skills, and his careful preparation for life on this remote planet. By afternoon, the twin suns were high, and the heat of Dusthaven pressed softly against Alara's skin. She was tired but also fascinated. The neighbors stopped by again, bringing more food and news of the nearby settlements. Tobin told stories of Dusthaven's strange weather patterns, Mara shared tips for growing crops in low-gravity soil, and Flicker continued its curious antics, always returning to watch Alara. That evening, Ryder and Alara sat outside the house, watching the pink and gold sky fade into the soft glow of the moons. The artifact rested on a small table between them. "You seem different today," Ryder said, breaking the comfortable silence. "Calmer." Alara nodded, thinking of the small moments that had made her feel safe. Ryder's steady presence, the neighbor's kindness, even Flicker's curious behavior. I think I'm starting to understand why you brought me here," she admitted. "It's strange, but I feel like I could belong." Ryder smiled, a quiet warmth in his expression. "You do belong, Alara. Dusthaven is a hard place, but it rewards those who try. And you're stronger than you realize." Just then, Flicker rolled over to the artifact, its sensors glowing brighter than before. It chirped a soft, rhythmic sound and then nudged the artifact closer to Alara. It was almost as if the robot wanted her to touch it again. Alara hesitated, then reached out. The artifact pulsed gently beneath her fingers, and she felt a rush of memories, not her own, but fragments of life on Dusthaven long before she arrived. Images of settlers, laughter, work, and discovery filled her mind. She blinked, overwhelmed but fascinated. Ryder placed his hand over hers, steadying her. "It shows glimpses of what was, and maybe hints of what can be," he explained. "It reacts to hope, curiosity, trust, emotions like yours." Alara looked into Ryder's eyes, seeing sincerity and care. "I think I'm ready," she said softly. "Ready for what?" he asked. "To belong," she replied. "To be part of this life." Ryder's expression softened. "Good, that's all I've ever wanted. To share this place with someone who cares, someone who's brave enough to try." The night deepened, and the moons cast silver light over the homestead. Flicker curled at Alara's feet, and the artifact rested quietly on the table. For the first time since leaving her home planet, Alara felt a sense of peace. She was far from everything familiar, but she was not alone. As she drifted to sleep in the small, cozy room Ryder had prepared, she thought of the day's events, the neighbors, the artifact, the calm kindness of Ryder. Dusthaven was strange, mysterious, and vast. But maybe, just maybe, it could be home. And for the first time, she allowed herself to imagine a future here, a future with Ryder, the artifact, the neighbors, and a life full of small adventures waiting beyond the horizon. The morning sun rose slowly over Dusthaven, painting the red sands in warm shades of orange and gold. Alara stood outside, watching the horizon, while Ryder adjusted the solar panels on the roof. The twin suns shone brightly, but the sky was beginning to change. Wisps of purple and green clouds drifted across the sky, moving faster than the gentle winds she had seen before. Ryder noticed her staring. "That's the storm," he said calmly. "It's coming." Alara frowned. "A storm?" "Yes," Ryder replied. "Dusthaven's storms aren't like the ones you've known. They're unusual. Magnetic winds, electric currents, and bursts of energy that can affect machines and sometimes even the land itself. But we'll be fine. We just have to prepare." Alara's heart skipped a little. She had survived space travel and leaving her old home behind, but facing something as unpredictable as a cosmic storm was different. Ryder seemed unshaken, though, and his calm presence gave her courage. He led her inside, showing her how to secure the homestead. They checked the windows, reinforced the solar panels, and made sure the robotic animals were safe in their enclosures. Ryder explained each step patiently, never rushing, always encouraging her to help. "You'll see," he said. "It's not just about surviving the storm. It's about learning to live with Dusthaven's rhythm. The planet tests you, but it also teaches you." Alara nodded, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. Helping Ryder made her feel useful, part of something larger than herself. She realized that this was the first time she'd felt a sense of responsibility for a place she could actually call home. By midday, the clouds had thickened, and the sky pulsed with soft green and purple lights. The wind picked up, carrying tiny sparks that made the sand shimmer. Ryder guided Alara to a small observation deck at the edge of the homestead. From there, they could see the storm approaching in waves, like ripples of color moving across the plains. "It's beautiful," Alara whispered. She had never seen anything like it. The storm was both terrifying and mesmerizing, a dance of light and energy that seemed alive. "Yes," Ryder agreed. "It's dangerous, but also incredible. Dusthaven shows its strength this way. You just have to respect it." As the storm drew closer, a strange hum filled the air. Alara realized it was coming from the artifact they had found days earlier. It glowed softly on the table inside, pulsing in rhythm with the storm. She felt a gentle warmth as she touched it, almost like it was alive and aware of the approaching energy. Ryder noticed her fascination. "It's reacting to the storm," he said, "and maybe to us." "The artifact has always been sensitive to emotions and energy. We'll need to pay attention to it." Alara nodded, holding it carefully. She felt a strange connection, a sense of calm and curiosity mingling with the excitement of the storm. She could feel her fear melting, replaced by a desire to explore, to understand, to be part of this world. As the winds grew stronger, Ryder suggested they secure the outside equipment. They moved together, side by side, anchoring panels and shielding the gardens. Alara felt a thrill of adventure. This was no ordinary day. This was a moment where she could see the strength and beauty of Dusthaven firsthand. Flicker, the little robot, zoomed around them, chirping and spinning. Ryder laughed softly. "Flicker thinks storms are fun," he said. "Most settlers would hide indoors, but it likes the energy." Alara smiled. Despite the storm's growing intensity, she felt a sense of joy she hadn't known in years. Ryder's calm guidance, the gentle hum of the artifact, and the strange beauty of Dusthaven combined to make her feel alive. By late afternoon, the storm was almost overhead. Lightning-like streaks of energy danced across the sky, though there was no thunder. The magnetic winds made the plants sway and the sand ripple in strange patterns.
Ryder and Alara stayed close, observing the storm and learning from it.
"It's a test," Ryder said quietly. "Not just for machines or structures, but for us. Dusthaven asks if we can adapt, if we can remain calm in the unknown." "And I think we can." Alara held his hand, feeling comforted. "I want to learn," she said. "I want to be ready." Ryder smiled.
"Good. That's all that matters."
Suddenly the artifact on the table began to glow brighter. Pulses of light moved across its surface, almost like a heartbeat. Alara leaned closer, her curiosity piqued. She touched it again, and this time she felt something more. Visions of Dusthaven before settlers arrived. She saw wide plains, strange plants and animals that shimmered with metallic colors. She saw people exploring, building, and discovering, their emotions leaving a faint imprint on the land. "It's showing us history," Ryder said softly. "And maybe—" Alara's eyes widened. "The storm is connected, not just the storm," Ryder replied. "Dusthaven itself is alive, in a way. The artifact helps us feel it. It reacts to energy, emotion, and life. That's why it's so special." The storm reached its peak and the twin moons rose in the sky, casting a silver glow over the landscape. The winds swirled, the lights shimmered, and the homestead seemed small against the vast energetic plains. Alara felt a thrill of awe and respect. She understood now why Ryder had brought her here. This was a place that challenged people, yes, but also one that rewarded courage, curiosity, and connection. As the night deepened, the storm began to calm, the wind slowed, and the colorful clouds drifted away. Alara and Ryder stood outside, watching the horizon turn soft and quiet once more. Dusthaven was peaceful again, but different. The land seemed to hum gently, as if it had absorbed the energy of the storm and shared it with them. Alara turned to Ryder. "I think I understand now," she said. "This place, it's not just a home. It's alive, and I want to be part of it." "I knew you would," he said. "It takes time to trust a new world. But you've got the right heart for it. Dusthaven welcomes you." They returned to the house, where the artifact pulsed softly on the table. Alara set it down carefully, feeling a deep sense of connection. She had survived the storm, not just physically, but emotionally. She had faced fear, uncertainty, and wonder, and she had grown stronger because of it. Flicker chirped happily, spinning around the artifact, as if celebrating with them. Elara laughed softly, the sound warm and genuine. Ryder reached for her hand, and together they watched the moon's rise, feeling safe, at home, and ready for whatever Dusthaven had in store. Elara realized something important. Life on this frontier planet would not always be easy, but it was full of beauty, discovery, and friendship. She had a companion she could trust, neighbors who cared, and a mysterious artifact that hinted at deeper mysteries. And most importantly, she had a choice: to remain afraid or to embrace this new life with courage and hope. She chose hope. That night, as she lay in bed, Elara thought of the storm, the artifact, and Ryder's steady presence. She felt a sense of peace she hadn't known before. Dusthaven was wild, strange, and unpredictable, but it was also full of life and opportunity. She closed her eyes, feeling the pulse of the artifact beneath her fingertips, and whispered softly, "I'm ready." And for the first time since she had arrived, she truly believed it. The morning after the storm, Dusthaven was quiet and still. The red sands sparkled under the twin suns, and the air felt fresher than Elara had ever breathed. She stepped outside her small bedroom window and looked over the homestead. The winds had smoothed the sand into gentle waves, and the plants that Ryder had carefully nurtured seemed taller, stronger, almost glowing under the sunlight. Ryder was already outside, tending to the hovering solar panels. He looked up and smiled as he saw her. "Morning," he said warmly. "Sleep well?" "Better than I have in years," she admitted. "The storm, it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. It was amazing, in a strange way." Ryder chuckled softly. "That's Dusthaven. It teaches us lessons, and sometimes it surprises us with beauty when we least expect it." Elara joined him outside, feeling the soft warmth of the sun on her skin. She noticed Flicker zipping around happily and the other robotic animals slowly resuming their usual routines. Dusthaven seemed alive, but it was a calm, welcoming life, not the chaotic energy of the storm. "I think I'm starting to understand what you meant before," Elara said. "This place, it's not just land. It's home, but it's also alive. I feel it now, in a way I didn't before." Ryder nodded. "That's the feeling we all chase here. Dusthaven isn't like any other colony. You don't just live on it. You connect with it. And now you're part of it." Elara smiled. For the first time since she had stepped off the train weeks ago, she truly believed that she belonged somewhere. She wasn't just Ryder's bride. She was a member of this small frontier community, ready to face whatever the planet had to offer. After breakfast, Ryder suggested they explore the area around the homestead. He had discovered something during the storm. The artifact they had found days earlier had reacted more strongly than ever, pulsing with light and energy whenever they approached a small valley nearby. Ryder explained that the valley had once been a settlement site, long abandoned, and he believed the artifact was trying to guide them there. Elara's curiosity surged. She had learned to trust Ryder, but she also trusted the artifact. Together they set out toward the valley, walking across the soft sands, their feet sinking slightly with each step. As they approached, the artifact began glowing brighter. Elara held it carefully, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. Ryder walked beside her, holding her hand as they navigated the gentle hills. When they reached the valley, they were greeted by an astonishing sight. Remnants of old buildings, now covered in shimmering plants and sand, and strange metallic structures that hummed faintly with energy. Elara gasped. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "Like the land has embraced the ruins." Ryder smiled. "Dusthaven does that. It heals and preserves what matters. The artifact, it's connected to this place. It wants to share the story of those who came before us." They explored carefully, finding old tools, devices, and simple belongings left behind by settlers who had arrived long ago. Each object seemed to pulse with memory, a faint echo of past lives. Elara touched one of the glowing plants and felt a rush of emotions: hope, joy, and a strange sense of belonging. "It's amazing," she said. "Like we're walking through history, but it's alive." "Yes," Ryder agreed. "And now we can add our story too. We can leave our mark on Dusthaven in harmony with what came before." That's what it wants. Elara felt a deep sense of purpose. She had come to Dusthaven scared, alone, and uncertain. Now she understood that home was not just a place to live, but a connection to the land, the people, and the moments that made life meaningful. She looked at Ryder, seeing the same understanding in his eyes. They spent the rest of the day exploring the valley, recording what they found, and gently cleaning and preserving objects that had survived centuries. Flickers zipped around, chirping and scanning as if celebrating their discovery. Alara laughed softly. For the first time, she felt fully part of this world, contributing to something larger than herself. As evening approached, Ryder suggested they set up a small camp in the valley. The artifact was placed carefully in the center, pulsing softly. Ryder lit a small fire, the smoke rising gently into the calm sky, and they sat together, sharing the simple meal. The twin moons rose, casting a soft silver glow over the valley. Alara looked at Ryder. "I never thought I could feel this, safe, happy, and excited all at once," she said softly. "I was so scared when I arrived, but now I feel like I can face anything." Ryder reached out and held her hand. "That's the magic of Dusthaven," he said. "It challenges you, but it rewards courage and kindness. And you've shown both." The artifact pulsed brighter, almost as if responding to their words. Alara felt a warmth spreading through her chest, and she realized it was not just the artifact, it was the connection between her, Ryder, and the planet itself. "Do you think it will always guide us?" she asked, her voice filled with wonder. Ryder smiled. "It will guide anyone who listens, anyone who cares. Dusthaven has a rhythm, you just have to learn to feel it. And now, you know." Alara leaned her head on his shoulder, feeling a quiet joy. The storm had passed, the artifact had shared its secrets, and she had discovered her place in this world. She realized that life on Dusthaven would not always be easy, but it was filled with beauty, discovery, and connection. For the first time, she understood what Ryder had meant when he said, "You're safe. You're home. You're mine." Not in a possessive way, but in a way that meant protection, trust, and belonging. She felt his care, his patience, and his quiet strength, and she knew she could rely on him in this new life. As the night deepened, Ryder and Alara returned to the homestead. The artifact pulsed softly in the corner, Flicker curled at their feet, and the robotic animals moved gently through the yard. Dusthaven was calm, peaceful, and alive. Alara looked out at the horizon, the twin moons reflecting on the sands. She felt a gentle pride in herself, Ryder, and the life they were beginning together. She had faced fear, embraced curiosity, and learned to trust the unknown. She was no longer a stranger on this planet. She was part of it. Ryder squeezed her hand gently. "Tomorrow we explore more," he said. "There are other valleys, other artifacts, and other stories waiting for us. Dusthaven is full of surprises." Alara smiled, feeling excitement for the first time in years. "I can't wait," she said. Together, they watched the moons rise higher, the soft glow illuminating the homestead and the valley beyond. Alara realized that Dusthaven was not just a planet. It was a teacher, a home, and a friend. She had arrived in tears, uncertain and afraid, but now she was filled with hope, courage, and love. She turned to Ryder. "Thank you," she whispered, "for everything." He smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "No, thank you, Alara, for trusting me, for believing in this place, for being here."
They sat quietly together, holding hands as the night stretched on.
The artifact pulsed softly, Flicker chirped happily, and the robotic animals settled in their enclosures. Dusthaven was alive, welcoming, and full of promise. Alara closed her eyes, feeling the gentle pulse of the planet, the artifact, and Ryder's steady presence. She felt a deep peace and a sense of belonging. She had found her home, her purpose, and her partner in this vast, strange, and beautiful world. And for the first time since she had left her old life behind, she felt completely, joyfully, and undeniably safe. Dusthaven had welcomed her. She was home.